Regular interfaith meetings with other religions take place at this mosque. Yet in a DVD bought from its bookshop, a British-based convert called Sheikh Khalid Yassin, who studied Arabic in Saudi Arabia, condemns the teachings of other religions.
We don't need to go to the Christians or the Jews debating with them about the filth which they believe. We Muslims have been ordered to do brainwashing because the kuffar, they are doing brain defiling. You are watching the Kafir TVs and your wife is watching it right now and your children are watching it right now, and they are being polluted and they are being penetrated and they are being infected, so that your children and you go out as Muslims and come back to the house as Kafirs.
In this DVD from the mosque bookshop, he preaches against the equality of women.
This whole delusion of the equality of women is a bunch of foolishness. There's no such thing.
In this DVD, he claims that AIDS is a Western and Christian plot.
No. Missionaries from the World Health Organization and Christian groups went into Africa and inoculated people for diphtheria, malaria, yellow fever, and they put in the medicine the AIDS virus, which is a conspiracy.
The mosque bookshop sells speeches by the Green Lane Mosque preacher, Abu Usama. In this one, he says Muslims and non-Muslims cannot coexist.
The of the Muslim and the non-Muslim, they cannot coexist. One of them is going to impact the other. Non-Muslims are the authority, and they have the power. Their lifestyle is going to impact upon the Muslims, because the good and the bad, they do not coexist.
And they sell audio CDs of Murtaza Khan, a preacher who speaks in many UK mosques. He's also an Islamic studies teacher at Al-Noor Muslim Primary School in Essex. In this CD from the mosque, he claims the Quran condemns Jews and Christians.
Those whom the wrath of Allah is upon is the Jews, is the Christians.
And he criticizes Muslims who follow their ways.
We have become Jews in our clothing, Jews in our eating, Jews in everything that we do, and the other half is Christians in everything that they do. Muslims are following one of these accursed nations. And people are still not waking up to understand the fact that these people are enemies towards us.
He says Muslims should become doctors, so women don't have to go to non-Muslim doctors.
First, we should have a sense of shame. For how long have we seen that our mothers, our sisters and our daughters have to go and uncover themselves in front of these filthy non-Muslim doctors?
Murtaza Khan told us,
"My discourses have never been delivered with the intent to malign any individual group or race. They are delivered to inspire Muslims to better themselves and then to play a positive role for their own and wider community in Britain."
Al-Noor Muslim Primary School told us,
"We can confirm that Mr. M. Khan is employed as a teacher at Al-Noor Primary School and can also categorically state that the alleged remarks do not reflect the views of his educational establishment. No extreme or discriminatory views are expressed or taught at our school by any of our teachers."
Darussalam International Publications Limited, which runs the mosque bookshop, told us it sells a wide range of material and did not necessarily agree with it. It said it was totally unfair to blame them for the views expressed in the lectures. The current Director General of Regent's Park Mosque, Dr. Al Dubayan, is from Saudi Arabia. A recent employment tribunal concerning a sex discrimination complaint at the mosque revealed that they had no jurisdiction over Dr. Al Dubayan because he's actually a serving Saudi diplomat. Dr. Al Dubayan told us his diplomatic status had been extended to him as a courtesy by the Saudi Arabian government following his appointment, as with his predecessors of different nationalities. He said the mosque bookshop was run independently and he was seriously concerned to hear that inappropriate materials may be on offer. The materials had been removed immediately until it was ascertained whether they were damaging to the principles of tolerance, multiculturalism and equal rights. He said it is false and misleading to make the sweeping generalization that religious teachings from Saudi Arabia promote extremism, and it is also false to assert that the ICC is dominated by the influence of such teachings. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia told us,
"The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is an Islamic state, governed in accordance with the teachings of the Sharia. Islam is a religion of tolerance and respects the human rights of all people, regardless of gender, age, religion or race. Islam is a religion without national borders. There is no such thing as the religious establishment in Saudi Arabia. Here, as in every society, one can find extremists, as well as conservatives and moderates. Saudi Arabia does not support radical or extreme ideology, but strongly condemns all those seeking to politicize Islam, preaching, inciting or fostering hatred and violence, or legitimizing terrorist activities. To this end, many imams have been re-educated in recent years, and a misguided few have been dismissed. Any financial donations, public or private, are scrutinized according to the highest international standards to ensure that no funds are sent to extremist groups. Saudi Arabia has pioneered calls for greater international cooperation for the exchange of timely and specific information.
Haris Rafiq heads the Sufi Muslim Council, which promotes a tolerant Islam and is opposed to the spread of radical teachings.
Wahhabis and their offshoots are teaching Muslim youngsters to be isolationists, are teaching Muslim youngsters that America and Britain are against them, and therefore they need to get up and fight with them or struggle against them.
Some Wahhabis believe that this is how the West is to be brought down, by spreading Wahhabism in the heart of the West cities.
Next, we find radicalism openly preached at a major mosque run by an organisation praised by Tony Blair for its support of multiculturalism and interfaith. A Dispatches reporter has uncovered a message of bigotry and intolerance spreading through Britain from the Saudi religious establishment.
We want to have children and offer them as soldiers, put in their soft, tender heart the zeal of jihad.
Now he was to find more radical speakers, preaching in a mosque run by a major organisation, praised by Tony Blair for its interfaith work. While filming undercover, our reporter met this preacher, Dr. Ijaz Mian. He's a travelling speaker who talks at different organisations in Britain. Our reporter filmed his talk at a mosque run by the Al Hadith organisation in Derby. It's the same organisation that runs Green Lane Mosque in Birmingham, which our reporter found promoting extreme teachings. Dr. Mian praises the Saudi religious police, saying they can imprison people for not praying.
They send up police, and they say, well, if you don't come for prayer, close your shop, we will arrest. But if you don't, then we have to bring the punishment on you. You will be killed and nobody will pray on you.
Dr. Mian is yet another UK preacher who has taught in Saudi Arabia. He spent 6 years studying Islam in Ibn Saud University in Riyadh. He wants to see religious police operating on the streets.
They would make sure that every person prays to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala 5 times. Every woman will be covered from the top to the toes. Hijab. Otherwise the police will just correct them.
He has a radical plan for this country. Muslims shouldn't accept British democracy.
Everywhere, king, queen, House of Commons. If you accept it, then you're a part of it. You don't accept it, but you have to dismantle it. So you being a Muslim, you have to fix it up. There will know what you call House of Commons. From that White House to this Black House, we know that we have to dismantle it.
Muslims must grow in strength, then take over.
You are in a what you call situation in which you have to live like a state within a state till you take over. But until this happens, you have to preach. Or you become in such a force that the people, they just submit to you. Hands up. Till you become strong enough that to take over.
It's an extreme vision that Muslims will one day take over Britain and bring about an Islamic state with Sharia law. Dr. Mian invites our reporter to visit Birmingham, where he's based.
We can come to you, you can come to us.